Okay, so this episode literally starts with Malcolm on a ledge, and boy does he fall. So, Malcolm is talking to a suspect on an apartment ledge, and sir, what the hell in the world is ledge stuff? We are really starting off funny, right? Fine by me. Malcolm starts talking, tells the suspect how he profiled him and then found him, and then this guy pulls a knife on him. You know, it is only as I'm writing this that I realize how dangerous and crazy it was for Malcolm to do what he did. This show really made me numb to Malcolm Bright being in danger in just one season. Malcolm Bright is on a ledge. It must be Tuesday. So the guy comes at him with a knife and they struggle and the suspect falls over, but Malcolm catches him and we see Danny telling him that he was supposed to wait for them to anchor the tether. And Idrissa's BDSM face saves the day. Outside, Malcolm is having himself a soliloquy telling the bad guy he's a killer and if Malcolm lets him fall, he wouldn't hurt anyone ever again. Isn't that the right thing to do? And then Malcolm starts wondering maybe right and wrong don't matter. What matters is what he wants to do. As he is in this high-stakes situation, Malcolm gets a call from Dad. And sir, why would you pick up a phone call from your serial killer father when you are in a position that you are in? Martin is being transferred back to Claremont for successfully curbing the spread of COVID in the prison. So, in the Prodigal Son universe, COVID happened, but now they can walk freely, meaning that people did the right thing and wore masks, right? Yeah, good to know. The one-liners this episode are just chef's kiss, and that is like the first 5 minutes of the episode. Malcolm first going charmed at the serial killer, and now with the please say it's cancer, and I'm hanging in there. Ainsley interviews JT about them having caught the penthouse killer, and if I hadn't known what happened in the finale, I would not know there was anything wrong with Ains. Instead, she's worried about Malcolm. We flash back to Ainsley killing Endicott. Malcolm picks up her knife and tells her that he was the one who killed Endicott. Malcolm wakes up from a nightmare and Jessica is in his apartment playing the piano, which we learn that she has been practicing in quarantine with Ainsley. She has prepared Malcolm breakfast and Malcolm seems like he wants to avoid any conversation with his mother. I get it, Malcolm. It is because you're afraid that Jessica would find out what you did. Jessica says that Endicott's body has turned up in Belarus or something, and Malcolm corrects her. It's in Estonia, and just like Martin, I would like to know, how did Malcolm manage that exactly? And how the hell did a body turn up when Malcolm chopped him up into bits? Malcolm tells Jessica about Martin's relocation. We cut to Martin being back at Claremont, and I am happy to report that Mr. David is okay and doing well from the looks of it. And in this, I am behind you, Martin. We all missed Mr. David. Mr. David leads Martin to his cell where some changes have been made. Malcolm and Danny are at a crime scene. Apparently, someone chopped a woman's head off with a guillotine. Anyone else excited by how much Malcolm and Idrissa are excited by a chopped off head? No? Just me. Time to call my psychiatrist. Solving the case stuff happens. Malcolm goes on about his hobby of collecting antique weapons. Idrissa is rightfully excited by it, but now he needs help from Daddy. So Malcolm visits Claremont and we meet Jerry, Martin's new cellmate. Martin is more than excited to talk about what they did together, i.e. cleaning up Endicott's murder, but Malcolm wants nothing to do with it. Martin, feeling underappreciated, doesn't want to help Malcolm. He starts a line that we have all been saying about the show, like father, like son, but Malcolm interrupts him, which I think is really interesting since the finale was called like father and the son/daughter part was left open-ended. Martin gives him the name of the guy who bought the only functioning guillotine in New York, and Malcolm gets hit with a shoe. I really enjoyed Martin's resourcefulness this episode. It is just as funny as Martin trying to kill Jerry, and instead of killing him, he cures him. Danny goes to Gil, and let me put this nicely, to snitch on Malcolm, though I'd be worried about Bright too if he did what he constantly does. More case stuff happens and we get to the sex dungeon. Malcolm, dear, I was going to ask you, are you okay? But we all know you're not. So what the hell, dear? For a while, given how manic he got, I actually thought it might turn up to be a dream, like something, like he imagined it, let himself go and gave into his father's DNA. But nope, it was all real, and now I'm really worried. Malcolm must be hell to work with. I mean, imagine being a cop, the basic danger to life that comes with the job, and then you are responsible for this man who just won't stop putting himself in dangerous situations. It would be so exhausting. The lighting department's budget cuts needs to stop. Sir, I need to be able to see my favorite character do his crazy dance. Back at the station, Malcolm comes to the epiphany that it was an executioner in Texas that is killing people now. They enlist Ainsley's help to catch the killer, and the killer comes directly to Malcolm's apartment. They talk, and the killer attacks Malcolm, and Malcolm beats him. Malcolm has come a long way from using lamps as defense. Outside, JT gets racially profiled, and a white cop starts to choke him, and honestly, this part was just so difficult to watch, and later the way that JT looks at Gil is just so heartbreaking. But Papa Gil wearing that turtleneck? Chef's kiss. Malcolm goes to Martin, and Martin asks him to step closer and thanks Malcolm for saving his daughter, and for 2 seconds it's a heartfelt moment until he goes, "Maybe you liked it because you got away with murder." Sir, we know that, but please. Anyway, this is the review of episode 1 of season 2 of Prodigal Son. I'll see you next time. Sending love. Toodles!